Welcome back. I'm here actually sitting, waiting for our trainer to come so that I can start working out because I've decided to take this workout thing a lot more seriously as I'm getting much older. And with 50 being a year away or a little over a year away, I keep thinking about the regrets that I'm gonna have when I realize I could have entered that stage of my life healthier than not, and the benefits of exercising and being fit. I'm not at that stage in my life where I'm trying to have a six-pack. No, I don't even remember a time where I aspired to have a six-pack now that I think about it. But I always wanted to be fit, be flexible. When I used to run marathons, my longevity was important to me, and the only way to build that is through fitness. So now I'm taking it to another level, and to make sure that I do it, I have someone come to our house on a regular basis to train us. Now, as I'm sitting here, don't get me wrong, I don't like working out. I've never been a fan of it. And although I try to speak about it positively, from an affirmations perspective, because that's what the experts say you're to do, I can't be a hypocrite, guys. I'm not a fan of it. But I know I have to do it. And whatever I have to do to get the results that I want, I'm going to do it regardless of my personal feelings. And every time I think about, why am I here doing this? I think, okay, you may not get to live the life that you want because it may be cut short earlier if you're not healthy. And it leads me to the fear of death, right? Because the thought of dying is scary for many people. And I think it's more scary for those people who have not lived a full life, a life in service to God, a life where you have achieved those goals that you set for yourselves. And yes, we're going to all make mistakes, we're going to have regrets, but we don't allow those to absorb us. Instead, we use them to propel us towards our greatness, and we take those regrets and we turn them into lessons. So I believe that someone who lives a good life fears death less, which may, I'm still trying to live the best life that I can, doing the best that I can, and it may be why I've never feared death. And it led me to the topic that I wanted to talk about today, which is, since so many of you fear death, let's see if we can figure out a way to use death as motivation to get you to do what you need to do. So we're going to play a little game. I think I need to find somewhere because I need to be writing for this game. Come with me. Let's go find a little desk somewhere in this yard. So in the meantime, while I'm going to find my desk, you go for paper and pen so you can follow along, right? Because that's all that this exercise will need, some pen and paper. Let's find a little spot here. All right. Morning, Watto. You all right? Yeah, video. Guys, say hello to my family member. This is Watto. He's been with us. You can't see his face. Watto, come beside me. Watto has been with us for many, many, many years. His family.
Thank you.
You're not happy quiet, Watto. We just record something casually. All right. No, man, no. We just need somewhere to sit down, so you don't need to. What I want to fix up the place, because him see me with the camera, but that's not necessary. So let me sit here and let me position this tripod. You get your pencil and paper yet? I hope you guys get your pencil and paper, This elephant stool. And let's get to work. So you should have your pen and your pencil, or your pen and your paper by now. I have mine, which is We Do Not Do Normal Rockstar Academy. Now we have to represent the brand. And by the way, this design was created by Kittle and the back, and it's a hardcover book. I told you that if I know how to create my own products, I'm not spending any money on anybody else's products, and I recommend you do the same. And this way, when I walk around with this and people say, I want something personalized, can I make an order? The hustle is on. The hustle is on, is what I'm trying to say. So let me go to my notes here so that I can tell you what this exercise is. And this microphone keeps sticking me, so I hope you're here. Now let's put it right there. All right, so the game that we're gonna play is, I want you to actually visualize that right now, as I'm talking to you, you're on your deathbed and you only have 24 more hours left in your life to live. All your relatives and friends are around you. They're about to pull the plug, but you're conscious. So you can think straight. You can visualize certain things because that's the exercise that we're going to undertake. It's one of visualization. And I want you to take your pen and your paper and I want you to write down 3 to 5 things. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You don't have to make them long. I'll probably do 3 or 4 that you regret. Remember, you're on your deathbed visualizing the life that you have lived, seeing your family there. I want you to write down 3 to 5 things that you regret not doing in your life or that you wish you had done in your lifetime. And as you're looking at your family there and your friends and saying your last goodbyes, I want you to think about who you would have wanted to spend more time with and what you would have said to them. Who you would have told that you love them a little bit more and that you appreciate them. So let's go now and write our list. And in all honesty, I'd made a few notes before as to what I wanted on my list, but something just came to mind while I'm talking to you. So I'm gonna add it to my list here, right? So let me put the first one related to my grandmother's death. And if you have read my book, No Regrets, Just Lessons, you'll realize why that's so important to me. And it still rides my conscience to this day. Family is another one. And the next one is balance, work, son. And the next one, this is one that I just added. Because I had some recent experiences, for want of a better term, that made me realize that I need to share more of this, and I don't need to ministry, but anyway, I'll tell you about it. Do you have your 4 things? You should by now. So let me check back here. What else is on the exercise? Let's see if I missed anything. All right, so now that you have your 4 things, so let me tell you what mine are. And if you're comfortable with yours, feel free to share 1 or 2 in the comments if it's not too private. So my first one is my grandmother's death and the fact that my grandmother died because we couldn't afford basic healthcare treatment. She was suffering from hypertension and diabetes. She got a stroke. It's a stroke where with money and care, she would have recovered today. But back then, I was born into poverty. We were living in that situation. I mean, we couldn't even afford to fix the roof on our house. It was an old board house and we just didn't have it. And my family, generationally poor, we could not help her medically because we couldn't afford it. So basically my mother would be working as much as she can. Everybody would be working and they would choose the medication to buy for her. We couldn't afford physical therapy and all of that. And in that moment as a child, I made a promise to myself that I would never again, I was about 15 when my grandmother died, 15, 14, I made a promise that I would never again allow poverty or a lack of resources to result in any relative of mine dying. And when I say relative, I mean even my extended family, because I grew up in a household with my extended family. So my cousins are like my sisters and brothers. So that's how close we are. So I made that commitment at that time, and it's a regret that I have. But I'm going to tell you why it's no longer a regret. The second one is time with my family, the same extended family. I spend a lot of time with my nuclear family, which is my husband, my son, and my stepson. And sometimes you get caught up in your life and you don't get as much time with that family that to me is my core family. And I do spend time with them, probably more than most people. I mean, we have our little events. If you have been watching this channel for a while, you see our New Year's events. We do our grave digging. We get together. I go home regularly because that's another house that I have where, you know, my extended family lives at. But I want to do more. So I'm also going to tell you how I'm fixing that later on. And then balance. When I was working a 9-to-5 job, there were times when on a Monday, I had to take a flight from Montego Bay to JFK, drive up to upstate New York to a place called Kingston, work for an entire week, and then Friday I drove back home. And I did that for years. And then I was in charge of Ghana, Africa, Santo Domingo. There was times when I was in charge of India, Mexico, Philippines, several places in the US, and of course still Jamaica. And I stayed home. I didn't migrate, which most recommended. So I didn't spend a lot of time with my son in what I'm going to call the critical years of his life. And it's a regret that I have, but I'll also tell you how I'm fixing that. And the next regret that I would have had if I were to be on my deathbed today is that I didn't share enough about the goodness of God. Because let me tell you, when I tell you that God has pulled me from the depths, not just of poverty, but of emotional, physical abuse, sexual abuse, and took me to a place where I never thought I would get to, it's unreal. And I have to share that goodness more, is where I would be if I was on my deathbed today. So again, share in the comments what yours look like. So let me tell you what the next steps are now that you have these 4 or 5 or 3 regrets or things that you would have wanted to do differently. We're going to turn them into goals, because that's how we get the fear of death to motivate us, to inspire us, to push us to achieve these goals. So the first one, I've had this as a goal since I probably was 15, which is related to my grandmother. So the way I turn a regret into a goal is you need to write it in an affirmative way and you need to put a timeline to it. So I need to put something like, ensure that I'm earning enough to cover expenses for my extended family if they were to get ill. And several others have gotten ill. My whether it's brain surgery, yes, brain tumor that my aunt got. My uncle has done several procedures. I mean, different family members, hip replacement, all kind of things. And not just me, but my cousins and their kids, everybody, we were able to step up and we were able to provide for our older relatives to make sure that those sicknesses didn't take their life. So I've already turned this into a goal and I'm achieving it. But I probably would feel like if I were to die today and, I was to lose the opportunity to keep helping, I would feel a little way, I'll be honest with you. The time with family, I'm fixing that. This year, we're going to have a family reunion like we've never had before. So, and I'm going to take you guys along because we're going to one of my favorite all-inclusive properties here. And I'm taking my entire extended family with me. So it's going to be about 26 of us. And we're going to be having days, probably I think it's 6 days or 5 days, I can't remember, of just fun and bonding. And I'm going to share some of that with you. Not all of it, because, some moments are private. But I'm making it a priority to spend time with my extended family. And, of course, my nuclear family as well. And my staff, because they're like family too. So in some cases, I want to bring them in as much as possible. The third one is time with my son. Because I was traveling so much, I didn't get to spend as much time as I want. you will notice if you watch this channel that almost everything I do, my son is there. He's either recording me, as long as he's available, that is, which he is mostly because he works, we all work in the same business, which is a family business. So he's either recording me, we're either doing things together, and I'm so grateful for that. And if you have watched this channel long enough, you'll know that my son is struggling with his own issues, but I'm so grateful that he's here, he's doing well, and he's making progress. So I'm gonna keep doing that, but you need to make sure you put that regret into an action if you have, you know, people that you want to say more I love you to or spend more time with them. My mother as well is, you know, my mother and I, because she was always working, my aunt really raised me. I want to tell her more that I love her. I appreciate her because she sacrificed a lot for me and my brother. So that's one thing I want to do. And then for the goodness of God, that is, I don't want to turn this channel into a ministry. And I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about God here, but I want to talk about how having faith and believing in something that's bigger than you, whatever your beliefs are, because I try not to judge. You know, one of the things I've learned is that I may not agree with you, but I don't have to hate what you do or how you choose to worship. I'm just going to try to inspire you to live a good life, life in honor of, you know, something greater than you then, whoever that is or whatever that is. My life in honor is to God, and I'm going to share his goodness some more. So that's the goal there. So after you have used that to set your goals, now what I want you to do is to put them on your action list and to live this every single day so that when you are indeed on that deathbed, you're not having regrets. You're not wishing you had done something. You're not hoping that you or thinking that you could have done something differently. And the primary takeaway from this video is that you're going to die someday, because it's inevitable, right? And until that time, what I recommend is that you live every day like it's your last and live it on your own terms. Don't allow society to influence how you choose to live your life. Live in the moment, be authentic. Until next time, walk good. Trainer probably here by now. Bye, guys.